Alright YouTube, we're back at you with another video. As you can tell, finally we're diving in to the RM125 engine. Got the thing sitting here ready to get torn apart. Got a nice finally laid out clean space to do this thing. So here's a little before look before I get it all cleaned up, vapor honed and looking brand new. Pretty much today's goal, or this video's goal, is to get it entirely torn apart, bearings out, everything, so it's ready to go to clean it up, get vapor honed, and then I'll put it all back together. I got a few things in for it, which I'll cover at the end of this video, a couple of parts I got for it, and stuff to bling it up. So we'll dive right into it, start tearing this thing down, and time-lapse everything. If you guys are new and you want to see this RM125 take shape, look brand new, be one of the cleanest RM125s on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, like this video for finally having a part 2 build series on this thing. If you want to see this thing get torn apart before the vlogs, you can follow my Instagram pages for the bike builds. Without further ado, let's jump right into this thing and get it all torn down. Alright, so I figured I'd chime in now kind of at the, I'd say, halfway point, maybe a little less than halfway point of taking this thing apart. The flywheel, that has been the hardest flywheel ever, like out of any other bike build that I've had to take off. I don't know why. It was a pain to get off. It probably took me like a half an hour in total between everything to get that dumb thing off. So, got that off finally. If you're wondering why I'm doing certain things in certain steps, the drain plug actually is JB welded. If my camera would focus here, is JB welded. I'm gonna try and chip away at that or grind it down and then undo the bolt from there. I don't know entirely how I'm gonna do that. That's why I had to drain the oil the way I did. A lot of you probably wondered why I poured it out like from the clutch cover. The guy said that's what he did to change the oil, which kind of blew my mind that he would always change the oil from the clutch cover. A few things laid out here. I'm not really worried about all the bolts going in here. I pretty much know where everything goes, and everything is getting replaced with new. Can't use all those crusty old stuff, so it doesn't really matter what I do with them. I'm just gonna throw all the other stuff out because I have a bunch of old hardware that I'll never use, and it just takes up space sitting here. So I don't really have to worry about laying everything out as far as that goes. Alright, so there you have it. Everything is torn apart. Cases are completely empty. If that makes any sense. Bearings out. I gotta just strip off the rest of this gasket. I need to do that on video, but strip the rest of this, get one of these seals out, and that's pretty much it. These things are stripped down. Got everything laid out, so I know how to get it back together. Transmission, I like to actually zip tie it, just keep it all together and not get all the gears out of line, because that's a huge pain if you they slip off and then you got to figure out what goes where. So keep that together, and then everything else is laid out as far as what needs to go back in. Like I said, the hardware I'm not reusing. Pretty much everything else is over here. This is the whole bike. Looks like it has an upgraded clutch basket from, I think that's Weizico. And if you didn't notice, when I took apart the clutch, they were all stuck together pretty much. That's probably why when I rode it months ago, why it kept like disengaging funky and it didn't ride right and it would kind of slip out all the time. So that's probably why clutch is shot. Everything else is laid out here. I got some stuff off at a local shop that does zinc plating, so a bunch of stuff is getting replated, so those will be like brand new. And then everything else is getting set up with spec bolt kit, which this is everything to redo the entire bike. So spec bolt has hooked it up with stuff for the KX build, the CR build, and now the RM build. If I can get it out here, this is everything I need, labeled, ready to go. So if you want to, if you're doing a bike build, or you have a bike that you want to redo all the hardware, spec bolt is the place to go. I'll leave their link below. But yeah, this is everything to nickel plated, nickel works bolts and nuts and everything to get this thing. Things are real nice, really sets it off. You can't clean everything up and then put crusty old hardware back on there. So that's that. A better look at these cases now. They're so dirty, so crusty. I stripped off that JB weld on the drain bolt, so I'm gonna have to redo that, but got the majority of that off so I can unscrew that. But these cases are roached. They're gonna look so good, all vapor honed, all cleaned up. See the full transformation on my Instagram before the vlog. I think with doing project bikes, in my case, the worse I can get them, the better it is. So the better the transformation from before and after. This will be a night and day difference for sure. Stoked to get these things done. The rest of the parts of the frame, I gotta bring powder coat. I gotta undo this, get this linkage off down here. Pretty much send everything else off to powder coat and get that taken care of. And then everything else as far as the brakes and some of the plastic stuff is getting redone. Vapor hone cleaned up. And it'll be looking new again. I got the swing arm down here, and then the forks and triple clamps over here. I'm probably gonna do a video like me cleaning it with the pads first before the vapor hone to show if somebody didn't have access to a vapor honing unit, how they can do it themselves. So I'll probably have that video up within the next few days. The best example will be on the swing arm because it's a real flat surface. You can see it better before and after. Stay on the lookout for that video coming here soon. Like I said, if you want to follow along with this RM125 build and see it fully get transformed and this thing to look brand new, if you've seen my past 2 bike builds with the KX and the CR, this thing is going to come out sweet. So if you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below so you can follow along with the build. Along with that, if you don't follow my Instagram accounts at Tyler Monagan and at Project 2 Strokes, where I post everything before these videos come out, I'd follow that if you want to be the first to see it. Aside from the spec bolt stuff, I have a full wrench rabbits kit coming in. They hooked it up for the channel to sponsor the build, and with all balls sending every single bearing, every single seal for this thing, so that should be in probably within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, with everything like shipping delays and whatnot. So I still have to wait for obviously this stuff to get vapor honed, and the longest thing that'll probably take is like the powder coat and everything to get done. So probably be on track by the time all that comes in. I should somewhat be getting the stuff back from vapor hone and powder coat, so everything should line up pretty good to get this thing put back together, get moving along, and hopefully get this bike finished up here within the next, I'd say, month and a half max. By the end of June, beginning of July is my goal to have this thing fully done and revealed on the channel. So yeah, that's the goal. We'll see if it happens, and I know a lot of people are eager to see this thing finished, as I am myself. I've kind of slacked on this thing, and finally we're getting moving on it. If you guys are stoked to see this thing finished, like the video, share with your friends. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next build video.